Okay, this is interesting. So you see in the lower part of the video, you will see someone doing the sumi-ire process. So this is a very important process. The reason I have to change the orientation from this to this is because I have to place the bricks on this side and the hole is placed here. So if the hole is placed here, it will be too narrow for the long shovel to penetrate and to pass through inside the kiln and put charcoal inside. Okay, so this is the very reason that I have to consider and be very careful in loading the ceramics inside the kilns, because Kanayama has this very unique way of firing the kiln. In the very last process of the kiln firing, they have this process called sumi-ire, or putting the charcoal inside. Okay, and the effect of the sumi-ire or the charcoals, I will show in the video. I will discuss this on different video, because the explanation with the firing process takes a lot of information to share. But here, while loading, every time I load, I have to prioritize and to be more concerned. I have to emphasize on this about the process of sumi-ire. Because sumi-ire, as you can see, it's very hot. And I have to consider people doing the sumi-ire. And if this is the hole, and I place the brick visible or in the middle of the hole, that brick would be an obstacle or hindrance for the shovel to pass through. So if this is the hole, I have to place it behind the hole so that it won't be an hindrance, right? So that's my concern. Also, as you can see here, I am putting rocks on top of the brick, because if the bricks are too low, and I place another layer of shelf, the shelf will be under the visible to the hole. And again, it will be another way of being a hindrance for the sumi-ire process. So if you're going to do loading process here in Kanayama, you have to be concerned to the next process of the kiln, which is firing it. So everything should be very intentional. First, you have to make it stable. Second, you have to make sure the bricks are not a hindrance or an obstacle for the sumi holes. Yeah, even the ceramic pieces, okay? Even the ceramic works here. So you can see, if this is the hole, again, we're going back to the hole. If this is the hole, and the works is placed on top, visible to the hole, it will be again an hindrance. So I have to make sure it is placed under the hole. Okay, so you can see here, I'm using a tool. I am using a tool to double check everything here. I am showing you using the ruler or the tool that if I have to make sure that the bricks are not hindrance to the hole. Later on, I will move the angle of the phone taking this video. Honestly, I don't want to speed the video, but for this first part, it took me 1 hour and a half. So I know it would be very boring, but I would like to maybe post the unedited video for this, because editing this video make the experience romanticized. It's like everything's easy, but in all honesty, this art form is one of the hardest thing I did in my life. So yeah, you see the holes now? Yes. So I moved the angle now. I think it would be better to see this way. You see? For those who want to see my works, you can check my Instagram page, which is placed on the screen, which is Precious G Pottery. You can follow me there and you will see some of my updated works and my future works. Okay, now you see the clay that I use here. It is called tosembo. Some of the staff call it dango. So dango is a food, okay? But they just call it dango here, but this is not the food. It's different. So basically, it's just a kiln wash. Diluted into a clay form. Yeah. And I could use it as wads to secure the bricks. I have to secure the bricks so that when I place another shelf on top of it, it won't move. So here I am placing the works. And for the company, they told me to put, you see, I'm putting small ceramics in between spaces. In all parts of the gaps, I have to make sure that it is covered. For example, if this is the shelf, I have to cover everything with ceramics because it makes the value of the kiln goes up, increases. Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to do that. You know why? There's not enough ceramic work. Again, we have to do loading 4 times a month. And other than doing ceramic works, most of the staff are in shifts to do the loading, firing, managing the kiln, maintenance of the company and everything. That's why doing ceramic work alone and trying to produce a lot of work just to accommodate that demand, it's really, really hard. But as an apprentice, it makes me master the skills. So it makes me think, how can I make this fast? Again, Kanayama is a mass production company. So yeah, on the lower side of the video, you will see the finished works. So you will see this ceramic colors. I don't know, you can see the ceramic colors here. So this is the end result of the Kanayama ware. So this is Kanayama ware. This is Kanayama ware. And the effects, it's a combination of the charcoal, the ash build-up, the heavy reduction during firing. And I think a separate video about the firing process should be discussed in another time. But this is how we do the loading here in Kanayama. Actually, this is just the first part. And if I try to load the frontal part of the kiln, I have to put the firewall. I have to discuss about the firewall. But I think it would be exhausting to discuss that more. But if you want me to discuss that, maybe if I have time. So I'm not a content creator. I'm just trying to document what I'm doing here for future reference and for those who are interested to know about Kaneyama. So yeah, I'm using different kind of cup. It's a repetition. The process is you're just doing it again and again. And for 3 years, okay? Imagine for 3 years and 4 times a month, you have to do this. You're really going to master the process. But then again, loading the kiln is a case-to-case basis. Like for example, this time I'm using a small shelf and it's cold, it's winter. During summer, it's a different scenario. Yeah. Sometimes the bricks are not clean. Sometimes the bricks are not available. Sometimes the shelves are very, very thick. Like really, really thick. And imagining it, carrying it above your head just to place it on the very top of the kiln. Some of it weighs around 30 kilograms. And you cannot ask for a different shelf because that's what's given to you. You just have to use it and carry it. Because that's why sometimes this hand is in pain, my back is in pain. Yeah. Basically, it's just like a workout. And the Japanese take prides on this. Like, when they said my back hurts, they were like, that's good, it's workout. Okay. And for those who didn't know, I'm the youngest staff here in Kaneyama as of now. Everyone is in their senior years. Most of them actually. Most of them are in their senior years. And some are in their late 40s. Okay, late 40s and middle 50s. But most of them are seniors that are retired. Okay, here in Japan, they work not because they need money. They work because they're bored. According to them. Like, they like doing something on their spare time. That's why they work in Kaneyama. Some of them are even volunteers. So because of this, I'm the youngest. I have to be respectful to them as much as possible. Of course, I'm from a different country. So I have to consider that too. And most of the time, if I can, I will do the heavy lifting so that it won't be hard for them. So yeah, this is the top area of the kiln, the last layer of the kiln. If I didn't cover anything, maybe on next videos. Yeah, if I have time to create videos again. So during this time, the 5th chamber, because this is the last chamber, most of the sets, most of the ceramics, the bigger ceramics, are assigned to be placed in the 1st and 2nd chamber of the kiln, Noborigama. Okay, usually on the 5th chamber, smaller sets are placed. Not that important ceramic orders are placed. But here, they told me to put the kabutos or the samurai helmets that I made. So these are some of my commission works here in Kaneyama. So this is the end result. On the lower left side of the video, you will see. Yeah. Maybe because I know how to place my work, place my ceramic work. So the top level of the kiln, usually that's where the ash builds up, because the kiln is a dome type. When you do firing, the fire starts here. It will go up this way. The airflow would be this way. So the ash will fall on top of the works, so in the head part of the ceramics. So there will be a heavy ash in this area. And for a sculptural work, this is good. But for a cup, this is not good. Because if there's ash buildup in the lip area and you use it, it will be very sharp for your mouth. So I have to consider the placement of the ceramic also inside the kiln. When it comes to the bowls, it's okay. The plates, the ash buildup is okay. But when it comes to cups, it's a little bit, I have to double check on that. But here, you see, I place a teacup here. Because we have no choice. There's no other ceramic available during this time. Okay, this is what was given to me. So, okay. I think I'm done with the video. Thank you, everyone. I hope I discussed everything. See you next video.